My name's Josh. I don't know why I don't know why I need to introduce myself. I feel like you probably would know who I am. You might not know who George is if you're new to the channel and you haven't watched one of our TCS episodes before. TCS is a weekly podcast that George and I do when it's in season about gaming and gaming topics. George
Week
is
with an A.
What was that?
Week with an A.
Week with Yes, it is a weekly gaming podcast.
It's weekly uploaded.
Oh my goodness. Far out. Okay, so this is actually a out of continuity recording of what's that podcast called? TGS?
Triangle, circle, square.
TCS of TCS. This is an out of cycle recording. So this is actually being recorded like I think the day that this goes live or a few days before this goes live, because we wanted to get something out for the topic that's happening today, which is the Game of the Year Awards. I realize I haven't introed yet. I'll do that in a second. But the rest of the stuff that George and I have previously recorded is sitting on the back burner somewhere that is going to start coming out from December. We've taken a little bit of a hiatus. Let's call it season. This is season 2 of TCS.
This is the filler episode.
That's how TV networks get around it, right? This is like the Christmas special, and then season 2 kicks off.
We have to save the Elder Dragon or get our license in this episode.
TCS is. Truthfully, TCS has been recorded for months, and we just haven't uploaded it. Some might say that's just straight laziness on my part. It could be that. Others might say, Josh has just been clinically depressed for months and hasn't been able to...
I would say that as a joke. No, sometimes you upload, sometimes you don't.
That's
if you're not in
life.
the content game, if you're not in the content game, you don't get it.
Exactly. If you're in the content game, you can comment down below and you can give me your 2 cents. If you're not in the content game, I don't want to hear it. It's as simple as that.
If you don't like Josh's upload schedule, post a link to your YouTube channel.
Exactly.
And then put a comment right under it. And I'll have a great day. I'll have a grand day going to people's channels to say hello.
Welcome back to TCS, everybody. It is great to be back. It is, like I said, it has been a while since we've uploaded one of these. And there is, like I said, there is plenty of episodes that will still be coming out from past Josh and George over the past wee while that we just haven't had a chance to get up yet. But getting back into a much more regular recording and uploading schedule of late. And this episode here specifically, we want to talk about the Game of the Year Awards. And that is actually coming up on the 9th. I believe it's this coming Thursday, the 9th of December. So I wanted to make sure we had some commentary up on that, a bit of a discussion around it, because it's kind of an interesting topic, the Game of the Year Awards. What are they for starters? Because I'm sure some of you don't know. What are the nominees? What do we think of the state of gaming in 2021? And I wanted to give like sort of thoughts and opinions and things like that to all of you guys. So that's why we are recording this and uploading it kind of with a bit more urgency than we have done for some of the more previous topics, given they kind of sit more evergreen on the channel, I would say. First of all, if you're new and you haven't seen any of these before, my name's Josh. I don't know why I need to introduce myself. I feel like you probably would know who I am. You might not know who George is if you're new to the channel and you haven't watched one of our TCS episodes before. TCS is a weekly podcast that George and I do when it's in season about gaming and gaming topics. George
Week
is...
with an A.
What was that?
Week with an A.
Week with an Yes! It is a weekly gaming podcast.
It's weekly uploaded.
Oh my goodness. George is a streamer.
Human? Yes. I'm a streamer. I'm a streamer on Twitch, and I'm Josh's friend, and I've been uploading stuff to YouTube as well.
And George is a massive trophy hunter too. Bigger than most of you.
That's originally how I got here. I like to get trophies, and I found Josh through his channel, and we've just become friends ever since.
That's exactly it. And links are all below us. I think my Twitch link is down there too, but don't click on that. Watch him on Twitch if you want to watch someone on Twitch. He's very good. I'm not. So there's that.
You weren't bad.
Yeah, I was. So what is happening?
Okay.
That's let's start off before we start talking about the Game Awards. We're like recording this really early December. What is new, my friend? It's getting cold outside for you.
It is getting cold outside. Yeah. So here in the United States, we just had Thanksgiving a week ago. So post Thanksgiving, pre Christmas holidays decorating. So we went and got our Christmas tree, put our lights up, did everything. And then in between all of that, we're trying to get ready for family travel. So we got our trip booked to go see my wife's family and do all of that. So it's very exciting because I'm about to just take off from work and do nothing. I had a very busy work day, and so I'm not, kind of getting into holiday mode. I got a little senioritis right now.
It's the same here, except it is getting hotter than the surface of the sun here versus getting turning into an Arctic tundra. So it's like,
yes, it's quite cold.
In Australia, it just gets incredibly hot. I am in Australia, if people are wondering. A lot of people are wondering if I'm in America or where I am in the world. This is Australia, although there is actually no way for anyone to fact check that. So it's getting incredibly hot here at the moment. Christmas is happening. Christmas is like, it's been that kind of almost Christmas time for about a month now, but most houses have Christmas lights and trees and stuff now, I guess, given we're in December. We don't have like that Thanksgiving thing where you do Thanksgiving and then you put up decorations the next day. We kind of wait till I feel like it's appropriate to wait till like the 1st of December here, but people seem to think that the 1st of November is also okay, which is
some people start putting all kinds of, I've seen stuff out in like October and I'm like, look, we got a lot of holidays, people. You can't be running Mariah Carey songs mid-October talking about Christmas starts now.
That's
all right.
Yeah, that's not good. You don't want that. That's too early. That's far too early. That's almost Christmas.
That's people that's desperate for just a good thing to happen in their life. It's like, you know what? Maybe someone will give me a good present. I'll start hoping.
Christmas is so good. You just want that feeling, and you're just like, look, let's go. It's July. Let's go now, baby. I want to
just let it ride. Let's just get some gifts ready. Yeah.
So that's where we're at in terms of holidays. I feel like in terms of gaming releases, the big stuff is done now. November is normally when like the onslaught of things happen. Hence why I guess the Game of the Year awards happen early December, because everything is sort of released of consequence by that point. So December's a much more chill month in terms of game releases ordinarily. I don't know, is there anything like specific you're looking forward to that's coming in like the next couple of weeks, like new stuff, or is it all done now?
Yeah. When is My Name is Mayo 3 dropping?
My Name is Mayo 3 is early next year now. So it's not coming out. I know you're looking forward to that a lot as well, but it's a wee way away.
I've checked the store for it more than once just to see if it was out.
I don't doubt it.
Not knowing the exact date. I saw your video talking about it, and I was like, I'll just casually check to just see if there's some new My Name is Mayo on the marketplace. There's not. It's a huge letdown.
So. I'll let you know though. If you subscribe to the channel and you hit that bell icon for notifications, then you'll know before anyone else in the world does when My Name is Mayo 3 comes out, because I like to tell people. I've tweeted about it a lot on Twitter, so if you're looking for even more up-to-date information about My Name is Mayo 3, you can go over there and follow me on Twitter, and you'll hear all my tweets about My Name is Mayo 3.
Can we get some early access review codes for it, or what? Is that not?
I feel like if you search My Name is Mayo 3 on YouTube, I think I'm the only search result other than the trailer, and I think I have more views than the trailer. So I mean, to me, I feel like they should do something for us, but I don't know. Maybe I'll reach out and ask. Those guys, I think they're very like that. They seem pretty self-aware based on the writing of those games. So they're likely the kind of people who would just be like, no, we're not doing early access for anyone. We don't need a review program.
There's no beta? There's no open beta?
There's no open beta. Let's just do this thing. Let's release this thing into the wild. So
that's a shame.
that's a game that's coming. I am looking forward to checking out Treasure Hunter Simulator, which is a game on the PS4.
You mentioned that to me, but I haven't looked into it yet.
It appears that you are a treasure hunt. It's one of those simulator games, but you're a treasure hunter. So you're going through the woods with a metal detector, just and a map, trying to find treasure, and it's got a.
So you're not like Luffy.
No,
you're not like a pirate. You're like an old retiree who's got a metal detector.
You're like a guy living in Miami. And he's got like the metal detector on the beach. He's collecting coins and rings and jewelry that have been left behind.
I heard that you can't metal detect in my state without having like a special license for it.
Really?
Like you just can't. Like you just can't go outside and be like, I found this treasure. Yeah, you can't. Apparently, there's some rules against it.
Coming to America and becoming a treasure hunter.
Don't come to this state if you're going to become a treasure hunter.
Yeah, that's disappointing because I've always told you if I ever moved to America, I would want to be either a treasure hunter or find Sasquatch, and it sounds like neither of those two things are going to be possible.
I know some places where you could get a Sasquatch hunting license. We can take you out to Arkansas, and they'll probably let you.
This whole pandemic thing seems to be wrapping up, so I'm hoping that come next summer, American summer.
Wrapping up?
I mean, we got another variant now. I don't know how many variants there are. If you've watched Loki, there's a lot of them apparently, so they just keep coming.
Yeah, they just released the PlayStation Pro of variants.
This is the PlayStation Pro variants. I don't know. Like, yeah. I heard it's not as bad. Look, if it's not as bad and we can travel, I'm gonna come and hunt a Sasquatch. It's the only thing I want to do.
Yeah, I'm scheduled for a booster, so I'm hoping I'll be good. So
Australia should be getting vaccines soon. So
the first wave.
We've just finished our first wave vaccines. Yeah, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's talk about video games. All right, okay. Game of the Year Awards is happening this week, and we have a bunch of nominations. And I've had a few people on the Discord talking about Game of the Year and what it is and what it means. So basically, Game of the Year Awards is this independent, for those of you who aren't aware, it's this independent awards ceremony, similar to the Oscars, I guess. So they're trying to make it the Oscars for video games, or the Golden Globes for video games. It is not as good as either of those things. But they want to try and create a sort of cultural event to have video games recognized on the same scale as film and television and things like that. So every year around early to mid-December, they do this thing. It's hosted by industry veteran Jeff Keighley. Mm-hmm. That's correct, isn't it? It's Jeff Keighley, yeah.
I think it's Jeff
Keighley. He's pretty good. I think he does a really good job, and he kind of bankrolled and funded a lot of it for many, many years until it kind of became what it is now. And look, hats off to him for putting the work in and doing what it is. I have a number of problems with the Game of the Year Awards, which we'll talk about. But yeah, basically this industry event where they get a bunch of judges in to vote on what they think the Game of the Year Awards, the games of the year are going to be. There's a bunch of categories. We're just going to focus on the main one, which is Game of the Year for this episode of the show. And that's really all there is to it. They vote on it. We get a short list, and then during the ceremony they announce who the Game of the Year is, and then that kind of becomes the official Game of the Year. Lots of other publishers, IGN, GameSpot, etc., every other publisher has their own Game of the Year, and so because of that, you might see lots of different video games with Game of the Year sticker on it, and it's like Game of the Year IGN or Game of the Year IGN France or whatever it is. Those aren't the official, but then there's also no really official. I mean, George and I could have a TCS Game of the Year, and we could give it to, I don't know, a game that is definitely not going to win Game of the Year anywhere, and they could produce a sticker of that and put that on their game. So that's why there is so much Game of the Year stuff that you see in retail and things like that. Did you know that or not? I don't know if you...
I did notice that there was definitely a difference. I mean, it's kind of like how movies, it'll be like, this is the greatest movie of our generation. Mm-hmm. And it's from TCS.
Yeah, they pulled the quote from TCS. So it's exactly that.
Yeah.
So this year we have a bunch of games that are on the list. So I'll read these out. So the first one is Deathloop, made by Arcane Studios. That's the one with the two Assassins, the Jeweled Assassins. It Takes Two by Hazelight Studios. That's the Joseph Fares joint. He did the prison escape game a couple of years ago.
A Way Out.
A Way Out, which was fantastic. Metroid Dread by Mercury Steam. That was a Nintendo exclusive. It's like a sequel to Metroid 3, I think, right? It's a 2D Metroid game. I started it, never finished it. Psychonauts 2, which George played. Psychonauts, made by Double Fine Productions. Ratchet and Clank, A Rift Apart. Actually, it just says Rift Apart here. I thought it was A Rift Apart, but anyway, by Insomniac Games, PlayStation 5 exclusive. And then the final one is Resident Evil Village by Capcom. Obviously, Resident Evil 8, the sequel to Resident Evil Biohazard. So that's our list of 6 nominees for Game of the Year. Out of all of these games, I have completed none of them.
I completed Resident Evil Village demo. The maiden demo.
I've started 4 of them. I've completed none of them. That isn't a knock at the games. So if you're already typing a comment saying Josh hates games, I don't hate the games. I just haven't played them all because I've been busy playing every Call of Duty game ever this year. That's a whole other thing that we'll talk about that another time. Don't worry about that right now. But so I haven't had a chance to play a lot of them. George hasn't played any of them?
No, I haven't. I'm playing Deathloop next. I bought Deathloop when it was on sale on the recent like Black Friday deals. So I finished Jump Force because the servers were closing on it.
Yeah.
And then I have Deathloop right up next. Mm-hmm. So I bought a ton of games so on that deal, and it's like my problem with like the game awards is that they tend to highlight just a ton of like hype train games, like really hype games, and those are just not the games that I put all of my hours in. Like when I went through all of these categories, the only games that really hit the ones that I played were Back 4 Blood, Hot Wheels. Was Alien on here?
No, sadly didn't make the list. Don't know how, given pretty much nothing else came out this year, but yeah.
so like, I kind of focus in that mid-quality level of games that have kind of like pretty difficult hard platinums because like, I like janky games.
I know.
I love jank. So like, whenever it's like, what is the hypest game that you spent $70 on and played for 6 hours? Like Ratchet and Clank. Like, I just don't play those until they're really, really cheap because
you'd prefer to pick up a Biomutant at launch, for example, instead, right?
A what?
A Biomutant.
We got that. We got that as a review code. I wouldn't have bought that.
Oh, you would have though.
Not for 60, but when it dropped for like 30, I might have.
Yeah.
I think when it was on but it released full price.
It definitely did. Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah.
It's not on any of these lists either, by the way. It didn't make the cut for any of the Game of the Year categories, unfortunately, this year.
Yeah, like, I'm just kind of overspending just like super full retail price for like hype machine games. Not to take anything away from these games, but like, I played the predecessor for just about all of these games. Like, I played A Way Out and thought it was great. I played Psychonauts, and I wanted to get Psychonauts 2 until I saw the price point on it.
Oh, was it expensive? I didn't actually.
It's full price.
It's a full price game. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I think this list is reflective of like the year of games we've had, and I think that's like part of what I want to talk about here as well. Is like 2021, the state of games in 2021. I think there was a lot of hype coming into this year, given the PS5 launch at the end of 2020. There was a lot of expectations around new release PS5 games, Sony's first party lineup, even Microsoft's first party lineup with Halo and things like that, which has only just come out and not even in its entirety. And third parties as well, what they had to bring to the table. And unfortunately this year, I think that it just hasn't happened. It really hasn't. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with the games on this list. That's not what I'm trying to say here. It's more just, you know, if we compare that to last year, which is the last sort of true year of PS4, right? We had both Ghost of Tsushima, which is a fantastic game in there, and The Last of Us Part 2, which I think is a good game as well, in that list. You know, two really massive pinnacles, I think, of what Sony is capable of at the end of a generation. And this year, we have Ratchet and Clank. And I can't criticize Ratchet and Clank. Okay, like just I've played a bit of Ratchet. I can't criticize the game. It is a great game. There's nothing wrong with it. I just want to make that 100% clear for people. But it's Ratchet and Clank, and I think that's you know what I mean. Like it's the same way that like a Kirby game could come out. It's never going to be a Zelda game, or it's never going to be a Mario game. It's always just going to be a Kirby game.
So that sentiment about Ratchet and Clank is why I've never gotten into the series. I missed the Ratchet and Clank window because I was on Xbox.
Sure. Yeah.
So when people are like, "Oh my god, the nostalgia for Ratchet," I'm like, "Look, I didn't play those games. I didn't play Sly Cooper. I didn't play Ratchet and Clank. I didn't play all of those mascot exclusives early on. Anything after PS2, I just kind of missed it. So when we're getting back towards, hey, you should give me 70 because 50% of this game is just nostalgia.
Yeah.
No, I'm not good. I don't have that nostalgia, So
and those games are great. There is absolutely nothing wrong with mascot platformers. I love them and I preach about them all the time. I think Ratchet is a great game and I can't fault it except for the price point. That is probably where I come down on Ratchet and say, yeah, there should have been half of that. Realistically, it should have been. And I know the developers work hard on it. They put time into it. I'm a games industry veteran. To a degree, I guess. I understand how it works. I do get it. It's just, I think that game was overpriced for what it was. And unfortunately, Ratchet and Clank is never going to reach the heights of Uncharted, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn. It's just never going to be able to get there because its limitations of being the genre it's in, mascot platformer, the history it has as well. I just don't ever feel like it will ever reach that. And I think that, to me, while it's great that it's nominated for Game of the Year and it may have a chance to win Game of the Year, it's crazy that it's on this list as well. Like that, there's nothing else that was superior to this. That's like, crazy.
Imagine years ago if when some of those iconic games were being released and you were like, "Yo, Jack 3 Game of the Year," you would be like.
Because, these games compete normally, like, that would have come out the same year as Vice City or something like that, right?
Right?
Or GTA 3. And, like, I don't know, there was a year when God of War, and I was at Sony when this happened, and I worked on God of War, and there was a year when God of War didn't win any awards because it was up against Red Dead 2, which cleaned up in every category. And God of War is an absolutely exceptional game. One of the best games on the entire system on the PlayStation 4, and it won nothing. Yet, maybe if it had come out 12 months later in a different year, it may have cleaned up and won every award. If it had come out this year, in 2021, for example, it would have demolished the competition on this list, right? So it's an interesting thing to think about.
Well, that's the kind of year that's good for the gamer, though. Right,
that
like a year where you say God of War is not the best game this year, you're like, what?
Yeah, I know, right?
But in a year where you say It Takes Two is
that
the game of the year,
too. And I played a bit of that game, and it's good. It is a good game, but it's not. I wouldn't ever call that Game of the Year. Like that would shock me if that game won Game of the Year. As good as it is.
So, I watched friends of mine stream it on Twitch because that was a popular thing when that game came out. Streamers copped up and said, "Oh my god, let's do an It Takes Two run. You be the mommy, I be the daddy." And I'll be El Dad, you be Mamacita, and then we go from there, right? And I when I was watching it, I was like, okay, this is new, A Way Out, cool. And nothing made me say, "Yo, this is Game of the Year right here. This has to be it." And I mean, I haven't played it, so maybe there's some gameplay mechanic about it that will blow your mind. But I don't like when I look at this Game of the Year list, it's just kind of indicative of just what a weak year it's been for the games that we're playing.
That's what I feel.
I committed almost all of my hours to gaming within like this past window of big major releases where everyone's like, "Are you doing Call of Duty Vanguard? Are you doing Battlefield? Are you doing all these?" I was just trying to get the platinum trophy on Back 4 Blood because I just thought it was a good challenge. So like when everyone was talking, like there was no must play game that could convince me to stop going after like a super hard platinum because I was like, I got a game. I'll just play this until I'm done with it.
So
and when I was done, go ahead.
No, there you go. Go on.
I was gonna say when I was done with it, I wasn't even eager to buy one of the new games. You said the servers are closing on Jump Force. Why don't you just play Jump Force? You like anime, you know, just do Jump Force. And I said, all right, fine.
Yeah.
But I didn't buy Vanguard. You know, I didn't. You know,
True.
so it's.
I went back and looked at what our most anticipated games were halfway through this year when we did that episode, and we both said Pokemon Snap.
I think Village I mentioned as well.
You did say Village.
I was excited for Village. I played the demo and then I spoiled myself by watching too much of it on Twitch. And then I was like, I don't want to play it. I got too much of the story.
No, fair enough. I do need to go back and do it at some point, but I just think it's it's a really interesting year. Out of this list of games, what do you think is going to win Game of the Year?
Deathloop.
You reckon Deathloop?
I think so.
Interesting.
Like when I was talking to my gamer friends that were doing Deathloop, because Deathloop came out when I was finishing Hot Wheels.
Okay. Yep.
And my friends that I played Aliens with and did all of these hard co-op games with, a lot of them went to Deathloop and they glowed and raved about it. They thought it was incredible.
Yeah.
And just when I look down this list, I mean, personally, I think if it's an original game and it's got original ideas, I just give it a nod above the other things.
Sure.
And the way my friends just glowed and raved about it, I would think it has to be it. And the way people talked to me about it was why I bought it when it went on sale as like the next game that I want to play. But I haven't really played any of these, so I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't take it. Maybe there's something going on with Psychonauts 2 that needs to be explored, but
so I think based on how this works is what they do is they get a bunch of games journalists from all the major outlets. They all vote, and then they have a judging panel who makes kind of like a final call on who actually wins it. So rather than it being a community vote, because I probably would have said Deathloop as well if it was a community vote. But given how the votes and how the awards are actually handed out, my guess of what's going to win is Metroid Dread.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So did Dread? No, I saw there were people playing it that I was watching. I watched a few streams of it, but did it review better than Deathloop? Like Deathloop was the game that was making perfect tens in all the magazines and all the websites.
So Metroid did review very good, very well. It played well too, because I played the first maybe hour and a half of it, and it does play well, like a 2D Metroid game, like a classic 2D Metroidvania style game. But it is Metroid, when we haven't had a Metroid game, the closest we've had to a mainline Metroid game in a number of years. Keeping in mind the kind of people that are voting for the games on this list. So there's that. And it's also a Nintendo published game, which tends to just give games an additional advantage for some reason.
A big Zenkai boost.
They get a Zenkai boost being a Nintendo published game for whatever reason. So I'm thinking it's Metroid Dread. I would say it's going to come down between those two, though. Deathloop and Metroid Dread is where I am guessing. I don't think the rest of them have much of a chance of winning.
So you think it could be a thing maybe where Metroid Dread gets Game of the Year, but Deathloop gets all of the other nominations that it got?
Yeah, like best. It could, because there's like, I don't want to talk about them too much, but like it could get best narrative or action game, things like that. There's a lot of other stuff that it definitely could get. It would be wild for Metroid Dread, a 2D side-scroller, to win Game of the Year, but I do think it is entirely possible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Another thought I had when I was just looking at this was just like, there's no Xbox exclusives on here, right? Psychonauts is not Xbox exclusive.
No, it's just published by Xbox. No, there's not, but they really didn't have anything come out until the end of the year.
What's going on for Xbox over there?
Yeah, they had Forza.
Let's give Xbox some games.
Forza and Halo, but they pushed them all the way to the back of the year, which kind of sucked. It's been a little bit of a bad year for Xbox in terms of exclusives, but they've been knocking out of the park with Game Pass in terms of having just so many games included on Game Pass. Back 4 Blood being one of them. Free day.
That was a bummer. That was a bummer when I paid for Back 4 Blood and it was crossplay.
Yeah.
And everyone that I was crossplaying with was like, "Oh no, this is just free on Xbox. I'm just trying it out."
Yeah,
And
that's
exactly.
exactly.
I bought this like a schmuck.
An incredible, it's an incredible service, eh? It's
Yeah.
but no games here, which that could be a trend for Microsoft as well going forward. Who knows what their publishing is going to look like over the next couple of years? I think it's going to be an interesting time for them. It's a shame they couldn't get something out of the gates early enough like that. But then Sony haven't really either. While they had Spider-Man at launch, Sackboy, I wouldn't say those are outstanding in any way. What's the FromSoft game? Demon Souls, which was good, but it's a remake of a game that came out in 2009. Ratchet is a great game, but it's still just Ratchet. So next year I think is going to be a massive year for Sony with their exclusives, but unfortunately this year I think was a little bit weaker.
Returnal is Sony exclusive.
That's another one, which I think is probably a little bit overpriced given what it actually was. A studio with an unproven track record producing a game. Well, no, they're an indie studio until Sony acquired them, and they produced indie shmup games until they decided to make this one, and then
expensive shmup,
an expensive AAA
shmup,
essentially, right?
Yeah, right.
It is. I don't know what they're doing over there, but my guess would be Metroid. It's not my pick of who I would like to win. But it's my guess of who is going to. So you think Deathloop will win? I'm thinking Metroid. So we'll see what happens there. Who do you want to win out of all of these?
I want Deathloop to win because I'm playing it next. Because I want it to be good. I want it to be good. Like
you want the pure confirmation bias. Yeah.
I want to be able to load it up and be like, I'm finishing the game of the year. I don't want to finish Deathloop because once I start a game, it's very rare that I don't finish it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to start up Deathloop and then find out that Resident Evil Village is the game of the year and be like, I gotta go do Village now and get that platinum.
It's a good segue though, because I would like Resident Evil Village to win game of the year. I hope they do, because I like Resident Evil. I'm a pretty big Resident Evil fan, despite having not played this one, which sounds a little bit weird to say, but it's not weird. It helps encourage Capcom to continue the franchise, to keep making these games, to continue to support this series. And I think they are anyway, but I think that would be a really good boost for them, because it is a weaker year. And if they were ever going to win, if a Resident Evil game was ever going to win Game of the Year, it would be this year, I think. Yeah, so it's theirs for the taking. So I do hope they kind of do. So that's our Game of the Year sort of predictions, I guess, discussion. I want to do a separate video with you later on, and we'll do this maybe in a couple of weeks' time. We'll be talking about our Game of the Year, or the game that we played this year that we enjoyed the most, which I think we can talk about. I see you laughing. I see you smiling.
Finger fitness, baby. Finger fitness.
We'll talk about that in another episode. But going back to the Game of the Year awards. That's the other thing I want to do to sort of wrap this up, was just around what that showcase looked like. And the challenge, I think the big challenge with Game of the Year awards is that it's almost a 3-part event now. So the actual awards is what it used to be. And that was kind of the big thing for it. And that was, you watch it to celebrate the industry for the year. But then it evolved into getting publishers and stuff involved in releasing trailers and things for their new games. So it combined an awards ceremony with almost an E3 announcements component, which meant it became these two things. So you weren't pleasing either audience, because you weren't spending enough time on the awards for those people, the industry, and then you weren't spending enough time on teasing new stuff for the consumers, for you and I, watching the show. So it kind of sat in this weird space. And then on top of that, it became very commercially driven when they added more sponsors and ads and things like that into it, which you don't ordinarily see in a red carpet movie event. You don't see a shit Quattro ad halfway through with a dancing giant razor saying, "Go and shave, you filthy animals."
Yo, you neckbeards, you need to shave. All right, I need to clean it up a little bit too. The Game Awards will let you know. Put on your Sasquatch soap, or whatever that Dr. Squatch guy is that interrupts all my videos.
Yeah.
Go put on that soap and shave your neck, and your Game of the Year is Metroid Dread.
That's exactly it. So it becomes a thing where I streamed it last year, and I've watched it the last couple of years, and it's people are sitting there complaining about the ads. People are in there sitting complaining about the trailers not being good enough, and then people are complaining about the awards, saying we want more trailers. So you're kind of not pleasing anyone because I think the vision of what the show actually is a little bit muddied. You know, is it a showcase of new stuff? Is it a celebration of old stuff? Is it just 2 hours of ads?
Well, to be fair, I was I was reading. We were talking about this article. It was like, what are you gonna see? There's gonna be a lot of hype. Last year they previewed Back for Blood,
Which was hype at the time. Do you know what else they previewed during the Game of the Year awards last year? Or they revealed?
which what?
They revealed Hood, Outlaws and Legends.
At last year's Game Awards?
At last year's Game Awards. That was one of the games that they revealed exclusively at the Game Awards.
Really? I felt like that game was released 10 years ago.
It was this year, man. It was 4 months ago, 5 months ago.
It really did play like it was released 10 years ago, though.
It's like a brand new game. That game got teased. That was one of their big trailers that got teased last year or got revealed last year. So I don't have the full list of stuff that was part of that, but I remember because I streamed it.
They teased Mass Effect and Dragon Age as well.
That's right. Two games that famously have had no more information released about them in the past 12 months.
They could have been Game of the Year this year if they could just get released.
Yeah, they could just, that would be great, right?
So I did finish Hood. I got the platinum in that game.
I remember. It broke you almost.
That was a stinker.
Yeah.
That was a real stinker.
We played this a while back. So George was playing Hood and I was playing Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And we were on party chat and there was some rough party chat conversations when we were both playing these two games, grinding out trophies towards the end of our time with them. It was a down point in both of our lives.
I forget what made Hood so rough. I think it was having to unlocking all the lore, so you had to get 40 wins with each character. So
and you were getting close and they did a free play weekend.
That's right.
It almost broke you, I remember.
Yeah, because so many people were just playing and like, how do you do this? What is this game? But I would be stacked up against crossplay PC full teams and they would just wipe us, just wipe the floor with us. It did not feel like it was 50-50. It's 4v4, you just get your win. It never felt like that. It almost broke me. But I did finish that. How come that's not on here for Game of the Year?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not in any of the categories. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 almost broke me. But I don't need to really explain why. I think everyone understands fundamentally why that almost broke me.
Yeah,
it did break me. It did break me. Let's be honest. It did. I've never been the same since.
I've had a good year for getting platinums though. Like I've gotten a lot of hard ones that I'm really happy that I did. So like for trophy hunting, I've had a good time.
That's a little tease.
Was fun to do.
That's a little tease as well for people. We're going to talk about the platinums we've earned this year. I think that will be an episode that comes out probably in a couple of weeks' time because we're recording it at the moment. But that will be something that we're going to talk about. You'll see it once all the other rubbish episodes come out.
The rubbish episodes never stop coming out though. They're always released.
They're always terrible. That's the big issue.
When will we get to the good ones?
When the channel gets deleted.
That's what I keep saying about One Piece that I'm watching.
Wait, when does it get good? Around the dragon. I think the dragon arc is when it starts getting pretty good.
Because they were like, hey, we're right here. It's the grand for those watching. I just started One Piece just to catch up so me and Josh can talk about it. So I'm 60 episodes in out of 1,000. And and they're like getting close. Their goal is to like get to the grand line. That's what they call it.
That's what they call it.
And they're like, yo, it's right there. Let's go over there. And then they're like, hey, actually, let's go over there and help a geriatric dragon. And then just go talk to a little girl for like 12 episodes.
Yeah, well, they'll do that. They'll do that from time to time.
Can y'all stop doing side quests? Can we stop side questing?
It is. It's just side quests.
It's like, all right, this I cannot go back if I progress to this point. So let me just go ahead and take this girl to Warship Town and to save Grandpa Royo the dragon. Spoilers if you didn't watch it in 1990. So
I don't know if spoilers even applies for a show that old. I'm not sure if it's like 30 years old at this point. It's older than me.
Someone will be mad.
Someone will be upset. I don't know. Does anyone in the comment section watch much anime? Just out of curiosity, as there many anime fans, there are any anime weebs like George and I. I
started the new JoJo. I was watching the new JoJo earlier today.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't started it yet. I need to do that. It's on Netflix now. I got a email saying you finished something. Here's some stuff you would recommend, and it was just a bunch of anime.
I turned on JoJo season 5, but Netflix defaulted to season 1, episode 1.
Great.
And it was like
some people said it's the best episode.
1868, and a guy crashing a carriage, and I was like, I don't think this is Stone Ocean.
It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough when you go back and watch it, eh? I need to do that. I might go back and watch it. Some people have said that it's the best season, so
no.
All right, that's our game of the year discussion. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I want to know what everyone's game of the year is, though. It can be on this list. It doesn't have to be on this list, though. We're going to do a separate video where we talk about our specific game of the years, because I think that would be a fun little breakdown for us to do. But curious to get everyone's thoughts down below. If you leave a comment about what your game of the year was, we'll try and include it in our video as well, where we have our discussion about our personal game of the year, because I think that could be quite cool to include some audience participation in that too. So it's not just games industry game of the year, big corporate money. That's all there is from me. That's all I had to say. Anything else? That's it, right?
No, that's it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah,
Go to our other platforms.
Go and watch George's stuff. His channels are all below his face. You'll be able to see them just straight down below him. He streams on Twitch 4 days a week. He is on YouTube once a week normally. And
I've been doing YouTube streams. They're pretty fun.
George is trying to really get somewhere on YouTube, so any support you can give him to try and give him a little bit of a Zenkai boost on YouTube would be absolutely fantastic. I know some of you guys have been over there already. I really appreciate it.
Fire Tucker was over there. The homie Fire Tucker.
Famous Discord mod over on the Discord. Good on you, Aaron. Really good on you, man. See if he's watching to the end of the episode to see if he sees this little shout out.
He's not.
He's probably no one's.
Audience retention. Audience retention
are the only ones here. If you are watching to this point, let us know what your favorite pizza toppings are, and no one else will understand that reference, but we'll know. So, and we'll all be in a little secret club together of people who watch the end. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here, tuning in today. I'd like to leave George with the final word to end the episode. As always,
we are